Since quarantine began, my TV intake has greatly increased. So naturally, very recently, I found myself describing the plot to a new dark drama I was watching to my sister. After a few minutes of detailing the various murder plot lines, she made the casual remark, "Huh, that sounds like a show that's always in dark lighting." And it actually was. There are so many classic examples in film that use darker lighting on the set to create a darker tone for the film. Whether that be dramatic, somber, horrific, or any number of these heavier emotions. Whether that be The Handmaid's Tale or Game of Thrones, or even shows that use it somewhat satirically, like What We Do in the Shadows or BuzzFeed Unsolved. These shows all use a dimmer atmosphere in order to mimic the darker undertones of the stories they're telling. This is especially interesting when you want to see the story as a whole laid out. For example, someone put together every frame of the Harry Potter movies into one image. Notice how the beginning movies were bright and had red and orange undertones, and then as the story progresses, the colors seem to get darker and carry colder undertones. This shows how the plotline for every book gets a little bit more mature, showing how it's changing in order to keep up with its growing audience. As I looked into lighting, I found that these key tools in film are just as applicable in the world of animation. For example, here you can see Merida lit two different ways. This comes from the TED Talk of Danielle Feinberg, one of the leading animators at Pixar. Before I saw her TED Talk, I didn't realize that lighting in an animated world could change the tone so profoundly as it did here. Another example is this color script used by the animators of Hotel Transylvania 2. It tracks the mood and the journey of the characters through its frame-by-frame analysis of the lighting and the color of each scene. As my research progressed and I looked at more and more examples like this of how animators could use lighting in their own digital worlds in order to create different emotions, I found myself wondering, can I change the emotion and atmosphere of the same image by lighting it differently? I settled on drawing a town at the base of a mountain, and I wanted to capture at different points in the day. Here you can see my animating process. I use the software Procreate on my iPad and use lots of different layers to easily be able to change the color to every individual piece of the artwork. I personally prefer the foggy landscape because it feels the most peaceful to me, but I also had a lot of fun animating every other image here. I hope that the next time you pick up a pencil, you think about the way that you're lighting. I certainly didn't know that lighting could carry this much weight.